What advantages do men have over women in the dating game? We typically have much larger penises than them. It gets easier for us as we get older, until we hit our respective ceilings. It actually gets better and better. Men die sooner. So at 80 many women are widows and the men are mostly married. Apparently if you are a single old man, many women are after you. Phew. Only 50 more years to go to become dateable. It's usually a lot safer for us to go on a date with someone we don't know well. Guys can just take these gambles with a lot less stress because we are usually stronger and can just leave if we don't like what's going on. Facts. I had a female friend ask me to be her last minute, call me at 8 PM, and if I say what happened to Tracy, that was code for this dude is creeping me out, and I need to get out of this date as a male. I've literally never had to worry about this at all. MMHHMM I've definition done that. Women are just as crazy as men. Especially nowadays where society can be used as a weapon. Wow, I've never seen it worded it that way. I always struggle to explain that concept. It's substantially easier to continue being considered very physically attractive well into your 40s as a man who takes care of himself. I'm substantially hotter now in my 30s than in my 20s. Although it's mostly because 90% of men just get fat, while I didn't. Low bar, I suppose. Noticing this as well. I'm turning 30 in a couple of weeks, but most of my friends my age have all gone overweight. Even some who were athletic and muscular in their 20s. Most just didn't realize they couldn't keep eating and drinking like they were in their 20s. Jokes on them. I couldn't eat that way when I was 20. I had to learn early how to manage weight. I'll become attractive just by getting fatter slower. It's hotness by attrition. A single father is often much more desirable than a single mother. More desirable, but still not desirable. Just putting it out there. I can vouch for this. I'm a 44Y/0 single dad trying to date on the apps. I do okay now, but it's nothing like it was before having a kid. Not much I can do about it. Biggest thing that comes to mind for me is safety. I mean, how many men do you know who text you their location while they're on a date? My partner gave her roommate live access to her location the first few times we went out, and it makes total sense. She has friends who've been assaulted or harassed. One was even left on the side of the road because they told the guy on the way home there wouldn't be a second date instead of waiting until he had gotten her home safe. Edit. Just to clarify, this is not to suggest dating is without risk to personal safety for men. Everyone commenting this happens to men too. I agree with you. I'm also glad to see so many men respond saying they do tell friends and family where they go on dates so someone is aware of their location. I was not aware this was becoming more common as it certainly wasn't when I was more actively dating years ago. It's great for anyone to look out for their own safety. OMG never get in a stranger's car. But they had pizza rolls. /U0001F979. Age. Around the age of 35 to 40, women still looking, or newly separated/divorced, find themselves competing with women in their 20s. If you like swimming in that pool of women, be warned, the odds are good, but the goods are odd. I agree with the single at 40, and I'm almost too old. I struggle getting dates with men my own age. I get lots of attention from 50 to 65 years old men trying to date younger. Hate this mismatch in ages. I'm a 28-year-old guy and I just want someone my age and similar to me. But women my age don't seem interested, while women 5+ years younger who I don't have anything in common with are super interested. I don't want to be 40 with a 30-year-old girlfriend, I want to be 30 with a 30-year-old girlfriend. LMAO. Same. But it's always been like that. In school girls my age were in semi-creepy relationships with young grown-ups, while my 16-yo friends got with girls 13-yo. Now 10 years later girls around 18 start eyeing me, and I'm always like EWW. When you don't care, they want you more. I say the same thing about men. Lol. Maybe it's just human nature. HMM not my experience to be honest. I'd agree that if a woman is too eager, that can have a negative effect. But if you show zero interest, that has a negative effect as well. It has to be somewhere in the middle. Personally, A woman being visibly into me makes her immediately more attractive. But if she is obsessing or being clingy, that'd be a turn off. As a guy, I never have to fully turn anyone down. Even the girls who are into me won't actually ask me out. They'll just hint that they are interested. So I never have to reject anyone. They might flirt, but I can just play dumb. And everyone assumes, oh, classic guy behavior. They can never take a hint. Rejecting someone in person is something I will probably never have to do. Whereas women do it regularly and can even be put into dangerous situations because of it. Some women, usually not met on a dating app, but possible, make up for it by giving you the illusion of a relationship, withholding what you'd hope for in an early relationship. Essentially, you're not getting what you want from them, and they aren't letting you continue to search for it elsewhere. If I'm not interested in dating anyone, I don't have to be bothered by women approaching me, because that basically never happens. On the other hand, women can hardly go anywhere, including work, or for a run, without some dude pestering them. I'm free to just be left alone. That is indeed an advantage men have, but not a suitable answer to an advantage men have in the dating game, because it's an advantage explicitly when not playing the dating game. I don't have to have any real worry about my date taking advantage of me or assaulting me, which is a pretty big deal, but that's about all the advantage I think I have. It's safer. I've been on dates where she was interested at the end and I wasn't, but I've not been stalked or raped or assaulted. Worst I've dealt with was repeated texts over time, and almost every woman I know has dealt with that multiple times, often evolving into threats and insults. I don't even think to cover my drink if I leave it at a bar, or look over my shoulder if I leave alone after a bad date. I never got a MySpace or Facebook account because of a stalking XGF. Borderline personality disorder. One day I was upgrading to Windows 10 about 8 years ago. It forced me to install and sign up for Zoom or a similar program back then. Can't remember. Within seconds of signing up, she messages me. Seconds. So I immediately deleted my account. This was 12 years after I broke up with her. That sucks, dude. I had an ex with borderline, and she started threatening suicide and saying she had cancer after we broke up. Don't get me wrong. Dating isn't perfectly safe for anyone. Dangerous knows no gender. But in a thread that deals in generalities, I do think it's a safe generalization. I don't have the data, but I'd guess that the longer the relationship, the closer would get to equality between genders in this. Crazy first date versus crazy ex and all that. Yeah, she would threaten suicide too. Speaking of generalities, it sounds like people with borderline are all the same. She would fall on the floor and throw tantrums like a kid, kicking and screaming. I actually saw this in the description for borderline. Among many other things she did, I had to send her on a plane to her mom's on the other side of the country, under the pretext that I need a break from you to see if I want to go on with the relationship. Then I ghosted her. It was the only way. The only person I've ever ghosted. There are actually a couple different classifications of BPD. For if I remember right, I know because my partner has it. For her it manifests in depression and poor self-esteem. Some mood swings. It's all internally directed towards herself. She has never acted in a manner that is associated with the disorder. Threatening suicide, acting crazy and abusive, etc. I know BPD gets a bad rap, but not all women who have it are insane. My and my girl have an amazing relationship. By far the healthiest and most mature I've ever had. We've literally never raised our voices at each other. We have had very difficult conversations, but we work together to solve the problem and not against one another. I'm certainly not invalidating your experience. It's an incredibly harmful disorder and can cause major damage. I just wanted to toss my experience with it out there to say it's possible. I'm not worried about getting pregnant, but you might impregnate someone. Then you can't realistically do anything. Touche. True. I had that happen. The girl I was with has borderline personality disorder. She got pregnant and wanted to keep the child, no matter the very reasonable objections against it. Now she guilt trips me, keeps our son away from me, all that jazz. It's horrible and it makes me feel disgusted and used. especially about our sexual encounter. Time and patience. Men can play the long game and just wait for the right one, all the while leveling up in life and resources. Women can't really do that strategy. In fact, it's detrimental for them to do this as their dating pool shrinks the more they level up in life. The biological time clock stops for none. We're basically guaranteed to come if we get laid. Same cannot be said for women. It can be as low as 11% for women. I would be so mad if I came 1 in 10 times I had sex. I don't even expect to have an orgasm when I have sex with someone, lol, that's how infrequently it happens. Oof. I'm sorry for your loss. Not having to die during childbirth seems like a pretty huge advantage. True. Less immediate threat of physical injury. She might get other guys to jump you later. If she really doesn't like you, she might slit your throat when you sleep. She might use blackmail and emotional abuse. But she can't just go up to you and wreck your ass unarmed without warning like a man can. I prefer the wreck your shit outcome. Safety might be the only thing. Being an unattractive man is challenging. Being an unattractive woman is tragic. Why? There will be like 40 unattractive men trying to get one unattractive woman. Yeah. For a quick laugh. Some ugly women have crazy high body count scores of dudes that will F once and skedaddle. The same advantage we get is the same disadvantage we get. For men who lean into the more masculine aspects of being a man, they can somewhat thrive not only in the dating game as well as the professional world. Men who do not may find it harder. The inverse seems almost equally true from a woman/feminine perspective though. We all have to act our part for best results. People hate it when you don't act your part. When I get up to go to the bathroom at a restaurant on a date, I can pee in a urinal standing up. That's about it. We have advantages. It's a lot easier for women to find dates than men. The only advantage men have in life is typically dying sooner than women. Need a hug, bro? Bring it in, bro. Bigger dicks. It's 2023 now. That S is changing. Since we are mostly the initiators, we get to pick our shots. Women can only pick the best shooter, not the shooter they want. I believe that gives us an edge on paper. So for example, if I want to date Lucy, I'll ask Lucy out. If I want to date Victoria, I'll ask Victoria out. If a woman wants to date Jake, she will most likely wait for Jake's advances. In the meanwhile, she's stuck with Jeremy, Luke and Adam. I know it's the differences between initiator and receiver, but I have heard many women actively refuse the initiator role. Women have more control, but they also take on more risk. I've never had to worry about my safety when taking a girl out. I'm sure most, if not all, have some kind of fear going on a date with a strange man. You've probably never taken a woman out in South America. If you do, watch your drink. You might wake up with everything gone. You also might not wake up. Women are born with value and lose it as they age. Men have to earn their value and lose it if they are stupid. Women can't control how desirable they are to the opposite sex forever. Men theoretically can. Young men sell future value. A lot of men, too many, don't know this. Example, I was friends with a guy in college. Good looking guy, no doubt. But the number of 10/10ths women he was hooking up with was off the charts. We were drunk, and I asked him point blank how the hell he was doing this. He said he told them he was in the pre-med program. It was years after I graduated when I realized our college didn't even offer a pre-med program. Haha. Very true. I've been guilty of entertaining men I wasn't all that into, just because they had future value. Mind you, I'm a software developer, so I don't really date men for how much they make. But sometimes I look back at my dating history and laugh at the number of times I sucked a little too enthusiastically because I knew the guy was destined to go far in life and I wanted in. Props for honesty.